When will this bubble pop? I don't know, but it will pop. And most likely it's going to be the next year or 2 years that this entire bubble pops. And suddenly now, the rich have gotten richer because they've cashed out in time. The poor have gotten poorer.
You're watching the gist on Strategies Global. I'm Ramananda Sengupta. Our very, very special guest today is Dr. Vivek Wadhwa, Indian American entrepreneur and academic. For those of you who watch our channel usually, they're a very familiar face to us. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning.
Good to
And
be
it's
with
a
you.
delight to have you. We're going to be talking about, no marks for guessing, Trump and the H-1B visa issue. Now, let me start from the top. What do you think made Trump do this?
All of this is happening because of Trump's ego. Frankly, this whole tariff thing, it started when he didn't get the respect that he expected, the sucking up that he expected from Modi and the Indian government. And this is part two of the vendetta that there are big debates in the USA about Indians taking American jobs away. So now he's trying to please his fan base. I mean, he's hurting in the polls. I mean, Donald Trump's numbers are really, really low right now. It's only the hardcore, MAGA supporters that he has. So he's trying to keep them happy by giving them one of their demands that, keep the Indians away. That's what this is all about. Now, the problem is that what he's doing isn't going to help the MAGA supporters. It isn't going to help any Americans. It's simply going to hurt American competitiveness. So it's like saying,
Mhm,
"Give me what I want, or I'll shoot my dog." So I mean, that's the situation it is in America.
mhm. But you said Indians. While Indians are the sort of biggest, users of the H-1B visa, I'm sure there are other people also who are going to get hurt.
Yes, they are the Europeans, South Americans, people from all over the world come on these H-1B visas. It's the way universities, recruit faculty and researchers, and it's commonly used to allow people to come and work in the United States. So it's
Mhm,
broader than Indians, but Indians happen to be about two-thirds, about 70% of the numbers are Indians because India has the largest population. It has one of the highest educated scientific workforces in the world, so
mhm,
it's very easy for for America to get top-notch talent from India to fill its needs.
mhm. But it's interesting that one of the arguments being used is Indians are misusing the whole process to get more Indians into the system through the H-1B. How valid is that argument?
I mean, it's a valid argument. If you look, probably about half of the visas, that's my guess, are taken advantage of by these scumbag body shops. Literally, you have these typically in New Jersey, you've got these small consulting companies. They'll get people to inflate their resumes. They'll lie on the resumes, and then they'll offer pretend to be offering people 60, $70,000 salaries when they're paying them 20 or $30,000 and charging them all sorts of fees, and then they go to companies and give it, so basically selling cheap labor. This is a reality, and this is why
Mhm,
there's so much opposition to H-1B visas because of the abuse by these body shops. But that's half of the problem. Okay, since it's a
mhm,
lottery, that makes it much worse. That they just game the system by having many numbers, by buying many lottery tickets, and this is how they make their money. So those companies need to be put out of business because it's like in any other field that you always have corruption, you always have scam artists that take advantage of any system, in any visa, any government policy. It's
mhm,
common. That's how what's happening here also. The trouble is that you're throwing out the baby with the bathwater here. You also have the highly qualified scientists, engineers, which are needed by technology companies and startups, by governments, by research labs. They are half of the H-1Bs. And now, by locking them out, America is hurting itself. It was better off to do something, to simply clean up the visa mess, to stop the abuse of the system. They know how to do it. They know who these scumbag companies are. It doesn't take much to figure that out. but that's not what
hmm
makes sense for them politically. So this is what's happening in America right now.
Particularly in the tech industry, given that a whole bunch of CEOs are of Indian origin, uh, does that help or detract from the cause of trying to get H-1B visas into a straight line?
Well, here's the dark side of Silicon Valley. This is something that they don't talk about. You see, what happens is that because there's so many Indians in the visa backlog, probably 1.5 million skilled immigrants in the visa backlog, there's a per country limit of 7% for the permanent resident visas for green cards. 7% per
hmm
country. This goes back to the Japanese and Chinese exclusion acts, the historical reason for that. But what so Indians basically are stuck in limbo. 60, 70 years they'll have to wait. Now, from the point of view of these tech companies, look at what happens here. Normally, their developers come and join them for 2 or 3 years, and then they get high salaries and they leave them. Well, these people are stuck in limbo because if they change jobs, they have to go to the back of the queue. They're making below market salaries. They're a captive audience. They'll stay in the same jobs forever. So this is why these tech companies have been so silent about H-1Bs for the longest time, saying, "Hey, we need more H-1Bs. We need more H-1Bs," rather than saying, "Hey, we need more green cards." Because why? Because
hmm
if people get green cards, then they're not captive, they're not indentured servitude anymore. So this is the dark side of
hmm
Silicon Valley. So these CEOs, even people I respect, they're complacent in this whole mess. It's a much more complicated mess, and the loser again is the startup ecosystem. It is hardcore research labs. It's the true scientists and engineers who the country wants. They lose out because of this rigged system. It's corruption everywhere. I mean, India gets criticized for corruption, being a supposed a third world country. America is equally corrupt. They just call it different things here.
hmm But you mentioned that well, it's a corrupt system and everything, and all that, I accept. But I recall reading one of your really fascinating articles, I think it was in the Hindustan Times, where you sort of argued that, in fact, you directly argued that America's loss is India's gain.
Yeah.
Is as black and white as that?
Yeah, because let's look at what's going to happen now. All right. So what this million and a half people I'm talking about here, they're leave aside half of them. Okay, let's say half of them are what the what the anti-immigrants complain about. You're still talking about hundreds of thousands of very highly qualified people making very good salaries, making 100, 150,000, 250,000, $500,000, really exceptionally good salaries, and their spouse is also working, so they have savings in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, sometimes in the millions of dollars. Now these people are in high demand. They have very good experience. They're invaluable to these top tech companies. Now they're seeing this
Mhm.
backlash against Indians, and they're also realizing that their green card backlog may never clear. So they're saying, well, why do we have to be here when our friends have gone back? See, what's happened over the last 10 or 20 years is that you've had tens, maybe, a couple of 100,000 Indians who've gone back to India, and they're doing very well over there. They're living in gated communities. They write emails about their servants and their drivers, and they send photographs in Instagram, pictures of how the lifestyle that they're living there in very nice gated communities. The well-to-do in India live better than the well-to-do in the United States. So they're saying, well, why do we have to put up with this when our children can be getting top class education in international schools? That we can be living in these communities. We can be next to our parents and our friends. We can have servants doing our cleaning for them. We don't have to wash our own clothes. We don't have to clean our own toilets or cook our own food. We have all of these advantages back home. Let's go back home. This is the common discussion that's happening in this elite group of, when I say elite, it's a very large elite group. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people. So they go back to
Mhm.
India. What happens? First of all, majority of them can continue to work for their companies because their companies don't want to lose them. Post COVID, the world has changed. We work from home. You're working from home right now, I guess, right? This has
Yes.
become the norm. Before, go back 5 or 7 years, you'd have to go into the office and dress up every day and go through the rigor of
The
of being
commute.
in a boring workplace. Now you work from home. So these people, when they go to the employers and say, "Look, I'm leaving," unless you let me work from home, the employer is going to say, "Absolutely, work from home. We don't want to lose you." So
Mhm.
they're going to be working from home, and others are going to now go there, look for jobs. Some of them will get very good jobs. Others will say, screw it, I can start my own company. And they're going to start companies. So they bring back large amounts of money with them, experience, networks, skills, and now they become an integral part of India's, high tech, biotech, you name it, even educational workforce. So it's a gift to
Mm-hmm.
India. Imagine all of these highly trained, experts coming back to any country, and you're talking about not thousands. You're talking about tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of very skilled people. This is a gift to India. I mean, any country would pay to get people like this to come to them rather than pay them rather than insult them and make them go back home. It's sheer stupidity.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that living conditions are better for people who come here for the same wages. What about work conditions? Do they get the same kind of facilities in terms of labs and other things here?
Ramanan, I've spent quite a bit of time with Indian, companies. I tell you, the facilities that they have are world class. I mean, this is something which has
Mm-hmm.
surprised me over the last 10 or 20 years to see the offices of Indian companies, to see the workplace. I mean, it resembles very much what you have in Silicon Valley. They even have perks like here you have fridge fulls of food. I've seen Indian companies doing the same. So I don't see a difference in the work environment between India and the USA. I see a difference in the work ethic here in Silicon Valley because I tried doing this with my company. My first thing was that I'm founding this here in Silicon Valley. I'm going to raise venture capital here and so on. All people care about is their perks. You hire machine learning developer, he or she wants to work 25, 30 hours a week. They have the right to do multiple jobs. They ask you about the perks, the benefits that they might have. Can we get DoorDash food delivery paid for by the company? I mean, can we get this? Can we get that? All of these ridiculous things.
Mm-hmm.
They're more concerned about the perks than they are about their careers and progression because they know that they're all set. In India, it's a different, attitude altogether. I mean, Ryan Murthy lit a fire under people saying you got to work 70 hours a week. My team doesn't work 70 hours a week; they work 50 hours a week. But 50
Mm-hmm.
hours a week is twice the productivity I would get from people over here, right? So everything has changed now, and with the ability of people to work from anywhere, and with innovation having globalized, the same technology being available, the same quality of work, the same quality of companies being able to be started in India, the US has lost its advantage. This is as stupid as it comes. They should be paying these people to come here, giving them incentives of $100,000 to come and move over here. It should be the exact
Mm-hmm.
opposite of what it is right now. And it will be. Just watch. What's going to happen is that 2 or 3, 4, 5 years from now, they're going to be in a panic because R&D would be flocking into India in a very big way. Companies are, I mean, they're going to be all sorts of, maybe another 100, unicorns, billion-dollar companies emerging from the startup ecosystem in the next 5 to 10 years or so. And then suddenly the US wakes up and starts now offering $100,000 incentive for people to move over here. Well, just like the Chinese do, they'll bribe you with
Well,
everything you can ask for. The US will have to do the same because of the sheer stupidity.
mhm. But you're talking post-Trump when you say 4 or 5 years from now.
Trump may
And
not. Trump may have his wings clipped next year. The way he's going right now, he's become so unpopular that he's going to cause them to
midterms.
lose the midterms. The way it's going now, there are other factors that play over here because the Democrats are their own worst enemies. They're becoming extreme left-wing socialists. They're making Indian
Oh yeah.
socialists look progressive. I mean,
Mhm.
so you got your own problem here because California, the crime, the rule, the policies. This is resembling the British Raj. So this is why people like me have a hard time. I didn't vote for anyone last time because I couldn't vote for Democrats because New York, we've got this Mandrani, this communist who wants to bring socialism to them, turn it into what India was in the 1970s, give out rations. So literally, he's talking about rations, giving out rations in stores and so on. These regressive policies. So this is the problem with the Democratic Party, and this is why people are tolerating Trump, and people like me can't even vote because I can't, vote for these left-wing socialists, and I can't vote for the right-wing extremists. This is the problem.
Mhm.
It will fix itself. This is the way it always goes in democracies. India has also had its own swings back and forth. So this is the way it always goes, and that's the beauty of a democracy, that you get to go from one side of the pendulum to the other, and then there's a balance, and there will be a balance here.
Mhm. But if I could bring it back to something personal, you yourself have moved a whole lot of your sort of work to India um,
I took a big gamble
for
on
different
India.
reasons.
Yeah, I mean,
For different
because
reasons.
yeah, I mean, my
But
mission right now is to help billions of people. This is all about, preventing suffering. My wife, I lost my wife to cancer, and my mission is now to fulfill her wish that no one suffers the way she did. That's why I started Vionics Biosciences, because after having worked on the cancer ecosystem of India through Carcanos Healthcare, I realized that it's the disease isn't being even recognized over there. Then it's not being diagnosed, let alone treated. So I just needed to develop a technology that could diagnose disease for a cost of less than a meal. That's my target. I tried building it in the United States, couldn't get the skills. The second thing was, can I bring in the H1Bs? You can't bring in H1Bs, okay? So then Chris Gopalakrishnan had me go to IIT Madras, and I was skeptical about it, but until I saw the facilities. You talk about the workspace, go and visit the Health Tech Innovation Center at IIT Madras. Oh my God, it's one of the most advanced research centers in the world. Top-notch faculty,
Mhm.
top-notch engineers, top-notch facilities, two or three, 400 startups. It's unbelievable what you see over there. I went there and I was blown away. And then they offered to do my R&D for me, which I couldn't believe also. I mean, can you imagine going to MIT or Stanford? All you get is sheer arrogance. You don't get humility and offering to partner and help build world-changing technologies. So I bet everything on IIT Madras, and then AIMS, All India Institute of Medical Sciences. They also volunteered to work to build this technology because they have a dire need for it in India. Within 9 months, they made breakthroughs that were unimaginable in the West. Within a year and a half, they got the technology working. And now we're looking to roll it out across India, to start with for water testing, because the technology, you can take a fluid, put it in the device. Within a minute, it tells you exactly what's in it, down to parts per billion, everything, the organic composition, the elemental composition. We'll be able to detect diseases in it. Right now, we're starting with water testing because Amitabh
Mhm.
Kant has been an advisor to the company. Former CEO of Niti Aayog, he's been telling me, Vivek, you have to help solve the problems of India, because he knows my values, he knows what I'm all about. So he said, let's start with water. Because I was asking for guidance on how do I take this across India. He said, let's test water. And that, because that's the root cause of disease. I mean, Mithab is a genius. Um,
Mhm.
he really understands the problem. So he was coaching me in this. Water is the root cause of a lot of the problems over there. Let's start testing the water, helping governments. I said, are you sure that they won't feel threatened about it? He says, no, Vivek. Don't believe all these things you read. Every government minister wants to help his constituents. If he or she can prevent disease and suffering, they look like heroes, and this is what they want to do. So now we're going to be running a pilot project in Bangalore. Hopefully, I'm coming there next month to
Mhm.
moguls of Bangalore to see if I can get them to fund it. And we piloted in Bangalore. We're going to take it to Hyderabad and other cities all across India, testing the water supplies, linking it up to sewage, and an entire system that'll diagnose health and prevent disease. And then next step, we'll start doing urine testing, blood testing, and offer the same technology to hundreds of millions of people. This is all made in India for India and then the rest of the world. This is what India makes possible. This is why I believe in India so much, because I couldn't imagine that India could build such technologies. Because even India, everyone is so down and out about, oh, we don't have deep science, we can't build AI. I mean, bunch of idiots. I mean, these people are completely out of touch with the real India. I mean, they need to go to the labs. You can go to IIT Madras, HTIC, go to AIMS and meet the
Mhm.
faculty over there. You'll see world-class talent who are itching to do
Mhm.
something meaningful with their lives. No one gives them the opportunities.
What you're talking about are the elite sort of institutions in the country.
Even the
Somebody who
second,
doesn't
third
get
tier
into
universities.
IIT.
We have
Mhm.
Jamaat Islamia University, I believe. We have a couple of others. I don't even know the names of these schools. They're working in collaboration with AIMS, with the faculty. Faculty are talking to each other. There's talent all across India. I mean, the elite universities, their admission criteria are so difficult that it's easier to get into Harvard and MIT than to get into some of the IITs, right? So that doesn't mean there
Mhm.
isn't talent there. So you have a lot of very brilliant talent at second and third tier colleges, labs all over the country. The talent is there. You just have to trust it
Mhm.
and give them the opportunities. I've proven it. I
Now,
put my money where my mouth is.
maybe a decade ago, a person would get into the IIT here with the sole purpose of getting a job in the US. They wouldn't want to stay here simply because of living conditions and other
That was 10, 20 years
factors.
ago. Forget it.
Yes,
Now,
yes.
the IITians aren't coming to the US anymore. No one's coming to USA because they know that it's a quagmire. They're literally going to get stuck in this visa, become indentured servants working for their white masters. I mean, it's going back to the era of the British Raj, that you have to bow down to your white masters. That's what's going to happen to them as they come here. And they know that because their colleagues have told them that. So now they're starting companies in India. I mean, IITs are generating more startups than almost any other institution in India right now because they've learned where the value is going to be created.
Hmm. Now, you're saying that a whole bunch of these people are now going to be coming back to India. But apart from India, what are the other markets where they might explore for opportunities, which offer similar kind of conditions?
Yeah, I mean, there are opportunities all over the world, but with the majority I mean, and it's not that it's going to happen; it's happening. They already have been, like I said, tens, possibly a couple of 100,000 very skilled immigrants who've gone back. You'll find them all across the entire ecosystem of India. They're already back, and they're telling their friends that about how wonderful their lives are, living with their family and their friends, and living in their communities, living in their culture, their children getting good values, good education. So this is what's motivating a lot of people to come back to India. Yes, they could go to Singapore, they could go to Denmark, God knows where they could go. It's not the same.
Hmm. Also, perhaps they can't hire in that kind of numbers. I mean, when
Yeah,
you
I
talk about.
mean, India has so many advantages. Smart people figure it out. Some of the
Mhm.
losers basically who have an inferiority complex about India, they'll go somewhere else. Let them. Who cares about them? The people who really, see the value of being in your culture and values and family and so on, and the fact that if they now want to start companies and do things like I'm doing, ambitious, world-changing, deep tech startups, they can find all the talent in India. They'll go back there, and they'll figure it out. It's. I mean, the numbers are so great that you'll find people going everywhere, but the talent will go where the opportunity is.
So tell me something. Now that you're so bullish about India, in fact, you have been bullish about India for a long time, long before this happened.
And I've been right. I've been
Do
talking
you-
about how India is going to have a massive entrepreneurship ecosystem. I've been 100% right about India.
Mhm. No, no, I'm quite sure you're right. I'm not arguing that. But do you face backlash from your peers, as in, Americans, who tell you that, hey, man, you're supposed to be an American. How come you're, dissing us and talking about another country? Have you ever faced that?
No, zero. In fact, Americans have, I mean, everyone agrees with me. All the people I know agree with me. The only the backlash I get is on social media from these accounts, which are probably Pakistani or Chinese accounts who are trying to split America. They're spreading, venom on social media. And unfortunately, that's what Trump seems to lead. He's, immersed in social media. So all of this, these bots, they're influencing his policy. In the rest of America, I say this proudly, and no push. The people agree with me. They don't agree with
Mhm.
these policies. They don't, they don't. I mean, a lot of support for Trump. Even Trump supporters know that the guy is erratic and eccentric and corrupt. So
Mhm.
this is well established here. We accept it. They
Mhm.
say the question is, what's the alternative? The alternative is you have got these left-wing communists in places like New York and other places. So who do you vote for? That's the challenge.
Mhm. I recall one of your earlier books, which was on immigration. If you recall, I can't remember the
Immigrant
name of it.
exodus. Yeah,
That's right. Yes. Now, how much of that is now coming
it's
into
100%.
play?
I mean, everything I wrote in it has happened, just as I said it would happen.
That,
I talked
that was
about
quite a
China.
while ago.
What's that?
That book was quite a while ago. I mean, it is not something that you did recently. You didn't subsequently. You didn't a few books, but this particular book, I remember, it had something. It had immigration as a title. I've forgotten what it was. But that.
Everything happened as I said it would happen, and now it's happening even faster thanks to Donald Trump.
Mhm. So, what I'm hearing from you is that, and you said it before, America's loss is India's gain. Is
Yes,
that the right way to put it?
without doubt. It's a gift to India.
Hmm.
Every skilled person going back is worth at least $100,000. So, so
Okay.
what Trump is doing is he's giving, he's paying tariffs to India versus the other way around.
Hmm. Now that we've heard all the pros of the whole thing, are there any cons in place? Are there any challenges that you see that
Challenges
we
for,
should
I
come
mean, I'm an American. I'd love to see America succeed. I don't want America to be bleeding competitiveness. I want America to lead the world because of its democracy and values and so on. So the cons for me are this. It's heartbreaking for me. I'd rather see both India and America rise together, being a partner,
about?
help each other. Not this insanity you're seeing right now with Trump and the MAGA crowd attacking India and now sucking up to Pakistan and God knows, what is this? This insanity.
Hmm. But you're saying that that's likely to change soon, maybe 3, 4, 5 years.
It'll change in the next 6 months. Just watch. This is politics. I mean, everything changes.
Hmm.
I
No,
mean,
I
if
mean,
Trump's
Trump.
crypto venture in Pakistan fails, he'll turn on Pakistan, like you won't believe. This is the way the world goes.
Hmm. Which brings me to another thing. Um, I mean, it's got nothing to do with this. What are your views on crypto?
On what?
On cryptocurrency? Is it a good thing? Is it a positive thing?
No, I missed
I wanted to know your views on cryptocurrency.
on
Is it
TikTok.
something
Yeah.
cryptocurrency, as in
Oh, crypto. Yeah, I mean, I've never believed in crypto, but my son is really into it, so
Mhm,
I'm torn on it. I mean, crypto has become a speculative asset. Essentially, that's what it is. It was supposed to, in India you have UPI. We have nothing equivalent in America.
mhm,
Bitcoin was supposed to have been what UPI is. Bitcoin failed. Now it's a
mhm,
speculative asset. When will this bubble pop? I don't know, but it will pop. And most likely it's going to be the next year or 2 years that this entire bubble pops. And suddenly now, the rich have gotten richer because they've cashed out in time. The poor have gotten poorer. That's what I see happening with
that's
crypto.
the story across the world. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how it's. The last question: you said that things are likely to change maybe in the next 6 months, maybe 6 years. That things will go back to the Americans now saying, "Hey, come back, we'll pay you more." But would that mean that the Indian bubble will bust?
No, because India has a long way to go. I mean, it's an underdeveloped country economy, and there's so
Hmm.
much to be done there. I mean, the entire infrastructure of India needs to be built. It's not even rebuilt; needs to be built. It's new cities need to be built, smart cities, because a lot of cities have become uninhabitable over there. There's
Absolutely.
some next 30 or 40 years. There's so much to do in India. So I see massive economic opportunities for India. Whereas in the West, you're going to see jobs being taken away, social unrest, all sorts of problems because of technology changing things too fast. India's opportunity here, it's the jobless future. So the world
Hmm.
is going to change a lot over the next decade or so.
Hmm. Last question. I think we are almost out of time, but you're doing something from a very altruistic kind of a perspective that you want to do something good, right? In India, what you're doing in India.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to first of all try to solve the problem of not knowing what's in your water and prevent disease by
Hmm.
diagnosing water. And then I'm going to my ambition is to offer the poorest of the poor in India better and more comprehensive medical diagnostics than the rich in the West have. And I'm determined to
Hmm.
make this happen. I mean,
Well, I'm very sure that you will make it happen. I mean, I've been watching you for so long. I know
I
what
tell you,
you can do
I
and what you've
wake up
already
at
done.
3 or 4 o'clock every morning, work until 11 o'clock every night, 7 days a week,
Mhm.
because this is my mission, and I'm going to do all I can to
Mhm.
make this to complete this mission.
Yes. Mhm. But my question was different. Do you think that people who come back to India with loads of money in their pockets are likely to suddenly say, you know what, let me do something good with all this money instead of trying to make more money? Or do you think while trying to do good, they can actually also make money?
It's all mixed. I mean, some people have good hearts and they'll do good. Others just want to make more money. That's humanity. Human beings are imperfect, so
Hmm.
it's good and bad at the same time. So
Hmm.
and Indians abroad are no different than Indians in India. It's just so what will they do good and bad? Well, do Indians in India do good or bad? It's, there's no
No,
simple
I
answer.
didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way. What I meant was that, suppose what you're doing now, you're not doing it to make money. You're doing it from a purely altruistic kind of a thing. You actually put in your own money to do this, right?
I
But
put in a
suppose
big chunk of my retirement savings, and other people. There are many people like me.
you're basically betting your future on this,
Yes.
right? So what my question was that suppose somebody comes here and says, I want to do something good. I want to, let's say, like you said, improve the water situation. But at the same time, I want to ensure that I also make profit from it. Is that possible?
No, making profit is good. My company is my goal is to make it worth billions of dollars. All right, by helping a billion people. Why? Because I want to give billions of dollars away. I don't need any more money. So
Mhm.
the question is, there's no harm in making money. The alternative is socialism. We don't want that. I don't believe in socialism. Companies should be for profit. They need to be sustainable. There's nothing wrong with making money, but you have to be generous, with the money that you make and use it. And you need to make money by doing good. You make millions of dollars by helping millions of people. That's the message
Absolutely.
we
That,
should leave
that was
people
my
with.
question actually. That you can make money by doing good. That was the question I
Yes,
was asking.
yes. That's the
So
best way to
on
make
that
money.
note, and on the bullish, thing that you've done vis-a-vis India, I'm sure a lot of people here will be very, very happy to hear what you've been saying. Thank you so very much, Vivek. It's been an absolute delight, like always, to talk to you.
Anytime, my
And I
friend.
look forward to seeing you again whenever you're back here in India.
Sure.
That is Dr. Vivek Wadhwa talking to us about how Trump's H-1B policy is actually going to backfire and it's going to benefit India. And if that's not good enough, he's making money by doing good. I do hope you enjoyed this particular edition of The Taste, and I look forward to seeing you again. Till then, this is Ramananda Sengupta signing off.